So this Christmas, Birdie electrocuted herself, so my Christmas present was a dead hawk. But last Christmas, Jackie and I took the dogs out for a walk on Boxing Day. In the morning, it was clear blue sky and beautiful, and every day other than that over that Christmas period was wet and cloudy. And we'd been going to feed the birds at the Falconry Centre in the morning and then walking the dogs after that. Boxing Day was different. It was clear and beautiful. So we thought, amazingly, good fortune, we'd take the dogs out first. We turned up back in our street at midday after a lovely walk around Castle Ashby to see fire engines and everyone in the street standing outside our houses. But the fire hoses were rolled out on our next door neighbour's drive. And we said, that makes a change. The way our luck's been this year, you'd think it would have been our house. And then John, the neighbour, came out and said, Dave, you've had a house fire. It doesn't look much. The heat from those explosions took out every window in the back of our house except one. Every window and the patio door had to be replaced. There's a downpipe from the toilets, and luckily only had one small hole in, but was all melted. That had to be replaced. The 3 bins, the explosive lawnmower, the storage, everything in it melted. Yes, we're insured. Good God. I'm not going to name them, but I wouldn't recommend them. It took the best part of the year to get everything sorted. Jackie and I did all the groundwork for paperwork. The insurance company were useless and fighting it all the way. It does not pay, to be honest, because I think they just think it's a game, and if you put in an exact honest quotes and claims, they just want to pay you a quarter of it, and I do mean a quarter of it. It got ridiculous. My dad and I also did most of the repair works. We purchased the new dog runs and so on and so forth, and we got there in the end. So from an honest person telling you what to do in an insurance claim, I'll tell you to be dishonest and claim for everything, like everyone said to me, but we're not like that. We didn't claim a penny more or for anything extra. It just doesn't work, to be honest, in the world at the moment. That's how sad the world is. But the really sad thing, because we just laughed about it, and that year, having your house nearly burned down really wasn't anything exceptional. It blew into the complete window out and burnt into one room. Luckily, John called a fire engine, and so did another neighbour. And the fireman said it was just about to ignite that first room inside your house, and you have approximately 4 minutes before you lose the entire downstairs of your house once something starts burning inside it. 4 minutes. What a job they have. You need a quick response. So we always look at, that was lucky, very lucky. But what really upset Jackie was watching that footage back, because every day that week, the pointer would have been in the run while we was out feeding the birds. And possibly the Bedlingtons would have been in their normal indoor room, which is the room that was about to catch fire. It didn't catch fire, but they would have long since suffocated because of the thick, thick smoke. There's a lot more to tell you. The reptile room was okay. It's got a fire door on it, so no smoke really got in. But the firemen were really kind. I said, I've got to get in there and I've got to put those animals down. The animals in, the young animals and things high up, put them down at ground level so they're just not getting any of that residual smoke. They were great. And afterwards, I did want to see a couple of the snakes. But the whole thing of doing that, moving things around when your adrenaline's high, and then having to clear up the mess, because remember it's Boxing Day, all evening, 2 of my enclosures didn't get shut entirely perfectly, and I lost a really big mangrove snake that escaped, got into the roof space and then froze, and a young water monitor which we've since replaced. So it cost 2 fantastic animals' lives, not as a direct result of fire, but as an indirect result of the melee. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. We were really, really lucky.
Can I just say, I cooked a Boxing Day dinner in a burnt out kitchen, and we sat like British people do, and we had a wonderful Boxing Day dinner, despite it all.
We actually did. We were sweeping up all the mess and the water and broken glass and everything in the dark of the late afternoon. And then we thought, oh well, carry on. And Jackie cooked a full-on roast dinner and we ate that. Could have been a lot worse, but it seems Christmas is the time of year we have to watch out for now, for sure. Yeah, insurance companies, good God. Absolute, the ones we were dealing with, there's no scoundrels, robbing, thieves, dishonest, yeah, legalised criminals in our case. Really, really bad. But it's all sorted now. But imagine you watch that footage back on your Ring camera to see one of your dogs burning alive and then finding your other two suffocated. It makes the prickles on your back stand up. Sometimes you look at your bad luck, oh, you've got to look at your good luck for sure. It's very misty today, Boxing Day. We've just popped up to the Falconry Centre to feed the birds, check everything's okay. Part of the whole job, even if there's nothing going on, is, you know, we'd have to check, someone has to check and do a walk round. The days you don't walk around the centre, even if you've been here for 10 minutes or 10 hours, is a day something gets left out on a perch to be eaten by tawny owl, who knows what. So we're just going to do a little check-up. And then I'm going to show you, hang on, in the last vlog you saw, or did you? I'm not sure, I'll show you, hold on. So we've had some high winds and things like this. Plastic sheeting being ripped off a bit. And there's no point putting it back during the high winds. So as long as it's not causing any great harm, we'll tend to assess, make lists and repair and renovate as you go. And if you've got a house, let alone something like this, it's ongoing. You're constantly repairing and renovating. This survived. Our marquee survived all the winds the winter's thrown at it so far. But I guess they've all done their little bit, and it flipped over last week. So the cover's off that now. We would like to replace that with a nice wooden structure. But Christmas week, really, the birds are just getting... The birds are singing for their supper. They're just getting fed. Minimal maintenance, just fed. Keep an eye on them. As much downtime as possible for everyone. And just take it in turns to come and feed them and check them. And that's about it really for Christmas week. And then January and February, we're shut for our experience days. It's not that cold today, but generally, January and February are the winter months where people don't want to stand around flying the birds on experiences. Most of them aren't as outdoorsy and hardy as us or the staff, so you feel the cold standing around. So it's the time to foot off the pedal for the staff. Not such a intense cleaning routine, but then mid-February onwards, getting those birds back out of resting sort of stage, getting them back up, getting their Christmas fat off and getting them flying and getting everything looking tip-top. So when I say to you, we take the foot off the gas and not as much cleaning, what you have to understand is there's a level of cleaning for the birds' 100% health, and there's a level of cleaning for public perception. I'm trying to find an example of that. So, I don't know. So for instance, I've just fed this Buzz Lightyear. If you look in there, there's food lying around because he's just been fed and he's not that hungry. And there's all poo on the floor. There's no flies around. None of that matters to him at all. Zero to his health. He's going to eat them as soon as I've gone. And that poo, it's not even going to stand on it. It doesn't matter if there's 10 times as much poo on that gravel. But from public perception, it doesn't look nice. I don't think it looks nice leaving dead food and animals lying around. And people think, oh, look at that, poor thing, it's dirty. Nothing at all dirty from that bird's point of view. So that's fine. Don't need to clean that today. But as soon as we're open to the public, we want all of this looking spotless, spotlessly clean, because it's about public's perception to a different level than anything like really good husbandry for these birds. If you went and looked at a seabird colony, it would actually be several feet thick in guano, years of bird poo. They're standing on it, they're rearing their chicks on it, everything else, and it would stink. Very different, very different. Public perception and bird health. Day after Boxing Day. Turns out I've now got a stinking cold. And we've just got to Norfolk. Had a little look around the garden centre because Jackie's very frugal. So she's got 50% off next year's Christmas baubles and so on and so forth. Wow, we're at Heacham now. Just letting the dogs have a stretch. And we're going to head to our hotel. A couple of nights of chilling out. Well, the cold is waning. Look at this. We're just taking the house for a stretch. We've had a big old English breakfast. Look at that. The silence of the fog. It's not just still. I think it sort of thickens and dampens the air so much it makes things even quieter. But look at this. This woodland is absolutely strewn, festooned with mature ivy just everywhere. It must be absolutely superb habitat for things like tawny owls and insects for sure. It offers a lot of cover. It offers winter fruit, the ivy berries, really important source of food to a lot of birds, and there's a lot of it. And today we've just seen nothing but wood pigeons sitting in the ivy stuffing their faces. But the flowers are also one of the last autumn and even winter sources of nectar and pollen, I guess, for insects. So this ivy is really important in England for the nature. Big mature trees, it can affect them because of the huge weight of it. And as much as certain wildlife presenters and things will say, you know, you should have ivy in your garden. Yeah, great for the wildlife in your garden. But to be quite honest, it's really destructive. The way its little tendrils suck in and grip on, they get in and work into a little crack in the mortar of your house. They don't just clog up your gutter in, push off your gutters and things and your drain pipes. They'll damage the cement and concrete and brickwork of your actual house if you leave it long enough, opening up cracks, frost getting in and so on. It's definitely, I think, it's a destructive thing to have on your property. But for sure, in the wild wood, ivy, massively important plant in the British countryside. So if you look at the holly, very prickly. You walk past holly or walk through holly, you're going to get very prickled. In fact, in your garden, if you've got holly and you're weeding beneath it, the dried up holly leaves are a blooming nuisance. But look how it changes. So all the way down here up to here, very, very prickly. You wouldn't want to eat that. Then as the plant gets taller, you'll notice there's no prickles at all higher up. Doesn't need them. It doesn't need them up there because we don't have giraffes in the UK. Down here, the height of deer and browsing animals, it needs that protection to stop it being eaten. But actually, in the farming world of old, cutting down those top boughs, prickle-free, make good winter fodder for a lot of farm animals. So what a clever plant. Produces prickles where it needs them, but doesn't bother where it doesn't need them. Well, annoyingly, we didn't have time to stop because of a car behind me, but we've just seen a marsh harrier feeding on a roadkill hare in the middle of this road. Something I've not seen before. Would have made a nice bit of video, but we had to just let it push off the road and carry on. We need to have the camera rolling. Now we've just put the barn owl off the verge, so I'm telling you what we're seeing, but you're not getting to see it. So, marsh harrier, buzzard and a barn owl in just a short drive. Maybe we need some different cameras. Vlog in the fog. We've just sat and had breakfast at the hotel for the last time, looking out the window at the thick fog. Not very good naturalist history channel, because we again missed something on film. We had another marsh harrier just cruise around literally right outside the window, getting a bit of lift in these sort of foggy conditions. Packed up, thought we'd bring the dogs out for a walk before we actually head home. We packed up, came back out the hotel to the van, clear blue sky, sunshine wall to wall. We've driven 11 miles, we're back inland a bit more, back in the fog. And it's really windy today, so I'm sure it's going to clear. You can feel the sun trying to get through. But yeah, thick fog, wall to wall sunshine, and then back into thick fog. We've had a great relax. See you later in the vlog. Eastern indigo snake, growing well. A dream snake for many and a dream snake for me. What a beautiful animal that is. Red chin phase. Oh, don't want to drop it really. Look at that. Wow. Trimarchon cooperi. So when you look, it's not just about animal enclosures. It's about the presentation of the whole place. So of course this looks pretty sad now, but this is our little wildlife border. It's a sort of one of our nectar borders, if you like, but it's also cover. So we have umpteen shrews and short-tailed voles that live in here naturally, and they do feed the wild animals, the tawny owls and the kestrels around. But leaving these seed heads on and not tidying up your garden is really important if you want to help nature. First off, they were full of seeds that the goldfinches specialise in eating. So straight away you've got an autumn feed crop for some of our birds. But they'll also be full of tiny money spiders, tiny insect eggs, tiny insects all over wintering in this dry herbage. Things like earwigs will get in the tubes, the hollow stems, and that's all food, of course, for other insects and other spiders and things, as well as little wrens, long-tailed tits, swallows, they're not here, robins and things that will forage around. And then under the edges of here and mossy places, you're going to have blackbirds turning that over, looking for woodlice and worms. So you really don't want to be chopping down, as scruffy as it might look to the human eye, this sort of stuff in your borders until most of the frosts are gone for spring. Chuck it on your compost heap if you can, and let those critters that are still hibernating sort of survive a bit longer. This all needs care as well. So earlier vlogs you'd have seen all the leaves off these annoying cherry trees, thick layer here. That's all got to be tidied up, or it'll rot down to mud and it'll just be a muddy path. Path here, wood chip path, so it's easy to do and easy to repair and reinstate. That needs doing annually, so that's time to do. And then again, things like our other wildflower strip that was a trial run here in the meadow, all that needs work and time. And that's all carried out really, or 90% of it carried out by Sue and Roy and Jess, our trio of gardeners. And without that kind of help, you might think of a zoo as a place for animals, or a Falconry Centre as a place for birds, animals, but there's a lot more to it than that, because any zoo that's open to the public, any Falconry Centre open to the public, it's actually about people. Because without the people, it absolutely wouldn't be here. Without you guys visiting, booking an experience day, it wouldn't be here. So it has to be about all-encompassing the whole place and how it presents, what it offers, not just about looking after the animals to the best as we possibly can. And it's about giving you ideas, things like Roy's Buckingham Palace. We've got a fair bit of ground here, much more than my garden at home, much more than yours, talking of which Jackie's just been cleaning out the animals, but giving you ideas, whether you want a little tiny bug house or get building with your kids and your grandkids. That's what the whole ethos is here, and it takes a lot of people, not just people that look after the animals. And I say Jackie's just been looking after the animals, which she has, but of Annie and Jess, amongst others, really put a lot of time in to caring for those animals. And again, interacting with them, because some animals need brain food, not just physical care. Catch you later. So I walked into the reptile room the night before we went away to Norfolk to find a big curly-haired tarantula. Free range roaming. Now I love these enclosures, and these are really old ones. They're still being made. A good ventilation mesh here at the back. Now some people have trouble with mesh, especially with arboreal climbing tarantulas, with their toes getting caught in the mesh. I've never had that, but what I have had on most of these, when the animals get big, a lot of people don't realise, with their big huge fangs, tarantulas can bite through wire mesh. Unbelievable. And he'd actually made a hole. I mean, it doesn't look big enough for his abdomen, but he chewed a hole through and escaped. Normally, if I see a hole forming on any of my larger tarantulas enclosures, I just fill it full of clear aquarium safe silicone. So I've redone that now, but that's a big hole, soft silicone. It is thick, so we'll have to keep an eye. They don't tend to do this sort of thing overnight, but they make a hole and they gradually enlarge it. So there you go. Those of you that don't know, big tarantulas are quite capable of chewing through steel wire mesh. But he's back home now, snuggled up. So you may know, if you've been keeping an eye on the vlogs, that some months ago our old Bedlington popped his clogs, old Fen, and we're sadly, or happily, about to scatter his ashes. Why haven't we done it before? Yeah, just time and life. So before the year changes, still in this year, start a new year afresh. There he is, look. He's having his last walk. He's in there, and we're going to take him down to one of his favourite walks along the river and scatter him there. And I guess recycle him to nature, bless him. And he's got his family around him. So there's his girlfriend, there's his kind of adopted friend Elsie, and we've even got his son Bud, Kyle's dog Budley. How old are these pups now, Jackie?
9, yeah.
They're all 9 years old, so they're all knocking on now, but quite fitting that his son's coming along too, although as he got older they didn't half used to fight at times, and we had to keep them apart until Kyle left home. But he doesn't care, and I don't think Fen cares right now. Right, we're in the way of the swans, so we've got to move them off. Come on, clear off. They get a bit humpy, obviously, swans, as you know, and allegedly if you were to come across them while they're driving a car, they could probably break your arm. But yeah, Bedlington's got rid of them because we don't want them to eat fen too quickly. I know, you're a handsome boy, bless you. And it's all about the wind direction, so we're going to find the right spot. Sorry, swans, but you're kind of where we want to be, and you can come back in just a second. They literally do think Jackie's about to feed them. Swans that are eating a dog. Oh dear, you got to laugh. He was the best dog in the world. The wind's not quite the direction you thought, is it, Jack? So this is my thinking, this is what I'd want. There's lots of little fish in here and water fleas. And whether you're in there or whether you're on the ground, you're not in a box in the ground, inert from the world. Your energy's gonna live again, isn't it? Because the grass are gonna eat you, the weeds are gonna eat you, the flowers are gonna eat you. You're just gonna have your energy recycled, for sure. We're gonna be eating that in a second, Jack. Poor old boy. So there he goes, start the new year. He's back where we like to walk. We'll think about him in the summer while we're down here fishing with Lily, I'm sure. And there he goes, the old boy. Why didn't we bury him in the garden? Jackie said, what if we ever move? We'd be leaving him behind. Whereas here, we can think about him all the time. Beautiful boy. Now, I promised you new things on this channel. We're going to try and make it work and properly get on with it this year because it's just been floating there since it split off from the main channel. So it's really, really windy today. And this portion of the video and some of the beginning is now filmed with a wind muffled microphone. Decent quality Hohem bit of kit. It is really windy. This would not be watchable at all, even by my standards, without this on. I'm really hoping it sounds good and the wind noises are minimal. Next thing is to get the Hohem gimbal up and running. Again, had it for months and months. Start using that properly to get some really nice footage of nature. And then once we've got a bit of a handle on that, the drone I've also had for months, bring that on. So really try and brighten these channels up. This one especially, because this is the vlog of our lives, the nature and the animal related businesses for sure. Catch you later. Hope you've enjoyed. Here's to a really good new year.